A goofball is how family members describe Travis Whitaker. When he wasn't cracking jokes, the 21-year-old was working to support his young son. But on October 5th, 2015, Whitaker was gunned down in the middle of Manson Street in the Compostela area of Norfolk. Well, 7 years have passed and no one has been held responsible for his death. Detectives in Norfolk say they need help piecing together what happened. But until someone comes forward, this is Unsolved, the Travis Whitaker story.
In homicide, a case like this that goes out at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, I know I'm in it for the long haul. I may be up for the next 2 or 3 days. Of course, the ultimate goal is to try to identify the offender early on, especially within that 24 to 48 to 72 hour time frame. After that, your chances greatly diminish, trying to get a suspect identified.
I know what this month did to me that many years ago, and it just never really went away. So although this is the month that I feel it the most, it's not the only month that I feel it, because this is literally how I feel every day.
Every time you think about it, it's like it just happened yesterday. Especially on the 5th, it's like you relive it all over again.
Yeah, I've worked a lot of cases over my career that's out in that area, Manson Street and some of the surrounding side roads, Wilson, Compostela and all that. It obviously has its share of crime.
And I just remember screaming,
I don't even know what justice looked like. Not saying I don't want anybody to be held accountable, but that's not gonna bring them back to me. So I don't know what justice looks like.
Why him? What did he do that was so bad that was the result?
Case like Travis's, we need somebody from the public to come forward.
Kind of broken on the inside. I'm sorry. The pain never really goes away, even though it's been 7 years.
When we come back, LaShawn Whitaker tells us about her beloved cousin and opens up about the night he was killed. Raised together since birth, Travis and his older cousin LaShawn had a bond that was tighter than most siblings. But Travis's death left the family with a pain that no amount of time could heal.
He was my younger cousin. We definitely grew up close and literally shared the same room. So being in a room with a younger boy, was very interesting, but they were still fun. Goofy, very goofy, very playful. Just being a jokester, playing all day, literally, from the time we wake up, and I'm not a morning person, so imagine this ball of energy when you wake up and you're like, ugh. And then you have Travis, happy, want to play, first thing in the morning. And I'm like, no, this is not it. But it made my day though. Of course, thinking back, it's like, I wish I had those moments to not be bothered again. I was really like the big sister because I was bossy, so I would have him doing the stuff that I didn't want to do, or making him taste this and taste that. And I remember I used to mix everything in the cabinets and make him taste it. And he would try it, but not really in trouble. He really wasn't a bad kid, so not really times where he had to be in trouble for anything. As a teenager, he became hard-headed, wanted to do things his own way, still goofy. I can honestly say that followed him all his life. Shocked. He was shocked. Kind of caught him off guard, I would say. I remember when he found out that it was his son. And to even see the pictures of his son that young, he looked just like him. So I'm just I remember he asked me, he showed me a picture, said, "Do you think it's my baby?" And I was looking, I said, "He's definitely your kid." He's definitely your kid. His whole face, he looks just like his dad. When he was younger, I used to ask him all the time, like, did he remember his dad, or, you know, any thoughts he may have had. And he would just tell me, like, what he remembered or if he did, and he does, because, you know, we keep him alive in a sense. Like, we always talk about him, or when he do certain things, we're like, you sound just like your dad, like, you look just like your dad. Like, my family is a tight-knit family. Like, at one point in Grandma's house, it was me, my mom, my dad, Travis, and then came my little brother. So we've always been close, and everyone feels about it like their own way, I guess I would say. But like days like today is when the most, I'll say, calls go through. Like, the most calls are, you know, around the family, checking and making sure that everybody's okay, because we know, like, what these dates are. Like, I call it his heaven day. It's crazy how your body just responds to certain things, even unconsciously, because a couple days ago, I thought I was okay. Like, before this month came in, I thought I was okay, and then it's like, this month is coming. And I know what this month did to me that many years ago, and it just never really went away. So although this is the month that, like, I feel it the most, it's not the only month that I feel it, because this is literally how I feel every day. The pain never really goes away, even though it's been 7 years. I was home. I stayed in Hampton at the time, and friends, like, my phone was just going crazy. It was at night. I don't remember the exact time, but I remember it was night, and my phone just started going off, and I'm missing calls, and I'm just trying to answer the phone or call back the last person that called me, and I want to say it was my god brother, who I ended up answering for, and he told me that Travis got shot, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like what? Like, now I'm already frozen. Like, what do you mean? Like, where is he? What hospital is he at? So at this point, my phone is still beeping, and I'm answering beeps for everybody, trying to pick the pieces. But now I'm getting dressed in the house because I live in Hampton, so I'm trying to make it to Norfolk. Like, so where is he? What's going on? So as I'm in the car, another one of my good friends, he called me, and he's like, he's telling me that they're, you know, in Norfolk on Manson Street, and I'm just like, okay, why they on Manson? Like what hospital are they going to? And he's just like, they're not going to the hospital. I'm like, well, why they not going to the hospital? Like, going off, like, what hospital are we going to? And he's like, we're not going to the hospital. And he's just like, listen, he gone. And I'm like, and I'm just like, nah. But when I came out there on Manson Street that night, like, my family was there before me, and of course everybody else who was like just standing around, and I was just like the last person to get out there. And I just remember screaming, like, I wanted to know why, I wanted to know who, like, for what, why him? I still can't wrap my mind around it. Like, I still don't understand why, the why or the what, even though none of it makes it right or is gonna make me feel better. Like, I still want to know, like, why him? What did he do that was so bad that was the result? He literally was a goofball, a jokester. So it's like, who would want to bring him harm? I'm sorry. I just try to do my best, like, every day, really. Like, even more so now because I do have a daughter. So it's like, this is probably one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with, like, in my life, really.
When we come back, Detective John Smith with the Norfolk Police Department takes us to Manson Street, where the search for Travis's killer began. Norfolk Police Detective John Smith was at the scene 7 years ago when Travis was killed. He takes us back to Manson Street and tells us how the public can help catch Travis's killer.
You know, homicide detectives down through the years have been described as that edgy band of hunters. Ernest Hemingway said, "There is no hunting like the hunting of man," and those that have hunted armed men long enough and liked it have never cared to do anything else thereafter. There's a lot of truth to that. It's hard. You can't stay mentally sharp after you've been up for 24 plus hours. Right after I walked in the office, the call goes out about a shooting on Manson Street. In the crime scene van, you know, my job with all of these cases is to preserve the crime scene. I've worked a lot of cases over my career that's, you know, out in that area, Manson Street and Campostella and all that. It obviously has its share of crime. You know, one of the things that I do is I kind of have to take a deep breath, and I have to prepare myself mentally for what's ahead of me. In homicide, you know, a case like this that goes out at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, I know I'm in it for the long haul. I may be up for the next 2 or 3 days. That's mentally challenging. It's physically challenging. Of course, the ultimate goal is to try to identify the offender early on, especially within that 24 to 48 to 72 hour time frame. After that, you know, your chances greatly diminish, you know, trying to get a suspect identified. So we're in the 1400 block of Manson Street. Some of these houses are brand new, but we'll park up here and kind of show you where the victim was. You know, it was about this time of the year, 7 years ago. Decent night. It wasn't raining, anything like that. It was, you know, conditions were favorable to process a crime scene. I always kind of follow the evidence, hoping that the evidence will ultimately lead to the truth. In forensics with processing crime scenes, I would always kind of start my way out and then work into the scene by way of photography, overall pictures of the scene as is, and then I would introduce my evidence placards, and then I would take another set of overall photographs to show the evidence placards, and then I would take mid-range and close-up pictures of the evidence. You know, and also during that time too, you have other detectives out here that are performing a canvas, you know, a process of going door to door and just asking people, you know, did you see anything, hear anything? Some neighbors may or may not choose to come to the door, some may not be home. Some people just don't want to be seen talking to the police, and I understand that. And a lot of times, kind of ways to overcome that is to maybe meet with them at a restaurant or meet with them at a coffee shop, somewhere where they're comfortable. We're not here to put them in a bad situation, or we're not here to try to you know, have the other neighbors, you know, to, you know, think that there's, you know, snitching or whatever, but it, you know, it gives them a sense of peace that we are trying to look out for them and not put them in a bad spot when we, you know, offer to meet them in ulterior locations. So the store part of it, I'm still not, you know, 100% certain of what happened and how it went down. There was some talk about maybe him coming from the store, or maybe had been at the store earlier that night. But nonetheless, he was found face down with his head facing eastbound. So he clearly was, you know, evidentiary-wise, was in a position to be walking that way. And when the shots rang out, he was subsequently struck and then fell face down, where he didn't move ever again. So he's clearly walking, or I think it's safe to say facing eastbound. Whether or not he was coming from the store, I don't know. Could have been running from something. He could have been walking that way to go home. You know, I don't know. You know, every witness's perspective is different as far as what they see. So, you know, that's what a lot of times you have to rely on crime scene evidence. Well, I mean, one thing's evidently clear: somebody didn't want him around anymore. I mean, that's one thing clear. Why? I don't know that. It's not that anybody's forgotten about Travis, because they haven't, and the police department certainly hasn't. His case is still active as far as being reviewed. But yeah, I mean, it's a cold case.
Rita Whitaker Hamlin is Travis's aunt, but she raised him as her own. She would give anything to hear his voice again. And as much as she wants someone held accountable, she knows that justice won't bring Travis back.
When it first happened, it was easier for me to come. But now as time go on, it's harder for me to come. You know, a lot of people, they get to go see their kids. They still can call their kids to the next room and they still have all their kids and all of that, whereas we don't have that. You know, his son don't have that. So if he want to see his dad, or if we want to see him, we got to come out here. We got to, you know, look at pictures. We have to, you know, change flowers and balloons. So it's different. It's hurtful. I was on the phone with him prior to it happening. He had a court date the next day, which was on the 6th. And being that I work in Chesapeake, I was gonna take my lunch and, you know, get it extended if I had to, you know, take him to court or whatever, just traffic court. But it was like I'll say like an hour, 30 minutes later, I got a call nobody ever wanna get. I love you. I never get off the phone with my kids without telling them that. And him saying the same thing. So at the same time, I would give anything to hear him say it again. If I could just hear his voice one more time, his physical, not with me having to listen to a recording or see a recording, see a video, him actually being here, which as we know now I can't do. Especially on the 5th, it's like you relive it all over again. It's like it's just happened yesterday. Every time you think about it, it's like you just happened yesterday. It doesn't get easier. It does not get easier. I don't even know what justice looked like. Because even, not saying I don't want anybody to be held accountable, but that's not gonna bring them back to me. So I don't know what justice looks like.
Our family is very tight, so no doubt in my mind, like how close he and my daughter would have been, or how close he and our younger brother would have been. Like, just the normal, the things that we do now, like the only thing that's missing is him. Speak up. Don't be scared. Like, talk. If it was your family, you would want to know, you would want somebody to speak if they saw something. Like, even anonymously, tell what you know, tell what you saw. Like, we have nothing right now. And this is how it's been for 7 years.
If you can help detectives solve this case, submit an anonymous tip through the P3 Tips app or call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. I'm Tom Shad. Good night.